What's up, guys? UFC 316. Amazing event. Let's get to it. Merab Dvalishvili versus Sean O'Malley, the rematch. I'm picking Dvalishvili to win after the first fight. How can you not? The first time these guys fought, I actually picked O'Malley to win by decision. And now I realize how horrible of a pick that was. O'Malley was never going to win by decision. And even today, I say it. I just don't see how O'Malley could win this by decision. The only way he was ever going to win this fight, and the only way that I can see him winning this fight would be by knockout. Basically, a puncher's chance, right? Because he has the skill, he has the power, and every fight starts on the feet. So for sure, you gotta give O'Malley, that. But decision, no, he was never gonna win the decision. And the first fight was so one-sided. I heard Chael Sonnen, of course, Chael Sonnen, and his dumb comments that he makes from time to time. He was trying, I'm pretty sure I didn't misheard him. He was trying to say that he thought O'Malley won the fight, which is crazy. Because I watched this fight, obviously I watched it that night, and I had it Dvalishvili, and I watched it recently just to prepare for this video, and there is no possible way. So the only round that O'Malley won, no questions asked, was round 5. I think we can all agree on that, round 5. And we can debate round 3, right? If you want to argue for O'Malley round 3, that's fine. I still think Dvalishvili did enough to get it. I actually gave Dvalishvili 1, 2, 3, and 4, and I gave O'Malley round 5. But even if we say fine, 3 and 5 to O'Malley, that is it. There is no possible way anyone can give 1, 2, or 4 to O'Malley. So even if it's that, it would be 48-47 Dvalishvili. Yeah, to me, that's not a controversial. It wasn't necessarily a beatdown. It wasn't necessarily that Dvalishvili broke O'Malley's face or anything like that. But it wasn't overall, as a whole, a dominant fight in the sense of there's no questions, again, unless you're Chael Sonnen, that Dvalishvili won that fight. Clear, unanimous decision. O'Malley hasn't fought since then. Dvalishvili beat Umar, which, again, I picked against Dvalishvili, and I remember I gave the first 2 rounds to Umar, and the fight was playing out the way I visualized it. I was like, okay, he's gonna do a little bit better on the stand-up, and the grappling will like neutralize. But beginning round 3, Dvalishvili took over, and he won rounds 3, 4, and 5. He actually dominated at that point, and got the decision. But there's no point really looking at that one because O'Malley and Usman are not similar at all. What O'Malley brings is going to be 100% keep it standing to get that knockout. And I basically see a repetition of fight number 1, where the insane, unstoppable pressure that Dvalishvili brings, combined with the takedowns and the control that he's able to show, even on Umar. Like it almost looked, it was crazy how he was able to take Umar down and clown him, as in, look, I'm the one taking you down. I'm better than you at taking people down, which was definitely not something that I expected. So yeah, I have Dvalishvili by decision. If O'Malley's going to win this one, it has to be by a puncher's chance, by a knockout, or there's no way he wins by submission. No way he wins by submission. I don't see how he could win a decision. Knockout for sure, but yeah, Dvalishvili, a repetition of the first time. Dvalishvili gets the decision. Juliana Pena versus Kyla Harrison. I'm not even going to break it down for you because on women's MMA, it doesn't matter how I break it down. It never plays out the way it's supposed to be. And there's this thing where always bet the underdog on the women's. I mean, take this pro advice. I'm not a pro, but I'm going to call it pro advice. Always pick the underdog. And I swear to God, if I was to look at the last events, the underdog always wins. Or at the very least, more than half the time. And even when the odds are like decent underdogs, somehow they win. And it makes no sense. So yeah, I think Jelena Pena is the underdog. So just pick her to win by decision and throw $20 in it. Gastelum versus Joe Pyfer. I have Pyfer winning this one by TKO. I know it's a crazy. I mean, it could be decision as well, because I don't think Gastelum has ever been knocked out. He's been submitted, but not knocked out. Uh, However, he's fighting a guy in Joe Pyfer who has 9 knockouts, and he has shown to be a knockout artist. I mean, if you look at his last fight against Marc-Andre Barriel, Gerald Meerschaert, and Amedovsky, he has power and he connects and guys go down. Gastelum seems to be a guy that is able to avoid getting hit with big shots. But in his last fight against, so Pyfer in his last fight destroyed Marc-Andre Barriel. It was pretty one-sided. Before that, he lost to Jack Hermanson, where I think he kind of gassed a little bit, and it was 5 rounds. Kevin Gastelum is coming from beating Daniel Rodriguez in a fight that was very uneventful. Like, no questions, Gastelum won that fight, but I thought he was gonna look more dominant, and I know I picked Gastelum to win that fight. I don't remember what method or round. I might have picked decision honestly, but I remember watching it and being like, okay, Gastelum won this round. He won the second round, but nothing that I thought it would be. I thought Gastelum was much superior to Daniel Rodriguez, and he wasn't. Like, he cruised through a decision, sure, whatever, but nothing special. Really, Gastelum failed to be what I thought he was going to be when he first came into the scene. When he beat Uriah Hall, he kind of reminded me like Cain Velasquez. I remember thinking, man, this is like the welterweight version of Cain Velasquez. But no, not really. It's been a lot of ups and downs. He's got a lot of like losing streaks in a row. Like, he lost 3 in a row, 2 in a row. Sean Brady absolutely dominated him. So did Cannonier Whitaker, and who he beat, right? Daniel Rodriguez, Chris Curtis, both by decision. I think in the striking department, Joe Pyfer is a monster next to him, and he's going to be landing the hard shots. There is no way Gastelum's game plan is to come here to have a kickboxing fight with Joe Pyfer. I think Joe Pyfer knows that, so I'm going to trust that he has prepared whatever takedown Gastelum might bring, which is not that amazing, at least not anymore. Like it used to look, it was going to be. His grappling. I think Pyfer keeps it standing, lands hard shots. I'm gonna officially pick him by TKO. First guy to finish Gastelum. However, Gastelum never been knocked out before. Obviously, could very well be a decision, but Pyfer by TKO. Before that, we have Mario Bautista versus Patchy Mix. Again, I'm running into a situation where there's a guy coming from Bellator that, I said this before, I don't have time to keep up with UFC and Bellator. With UFC every single weekend, it's really impossible for me to keep up with the talent and everything. Mario Bautista is coming from beating Jose Aldo in a split decision. A very old and already way past his time Aldo, and it was split. I remember the first time I picked Aldo to win that one, and the first time I watched it, I think I was being biased, that I was like, oh, there's a robbery. Aldo clearly won that fight. But then when I watched it to prepare for this video, I actually agree with the decision. I gave round 1 100% to Mario Bautista. Round 2 for sure Aldo. But round 3, I think Bautista did enough to win that round and get a 29-28. Again, round 3 was the one that... Round 3 is the reason why this was a split, right? I'm sure some people say Aldo, some people say Bautista, because round 1 and 2 were clear. Round 1, Bautista. Round 2, Aldo. Round 3, it was basically a stand-up fight where I just think Bautista, with the clinching and kind of a little bit of humping against the cage, did enough to get the decision. because it's not like he beat Aldo on the stand-up. I mean, Aldo did good. Round 2 was all Aldo. This reminds me of when I ran into the Patricio Pitbull just about a month ago against Raul Rodriguez, where I had no choice but to watch footage on Pitbull, and I picked Rodriguez to win, and Rodriguez won. I watched what's his name? Patchy Mix last fight against Magomedov. It was a split decision because it was very competitive. It was a 5-rounder. Every single round, both of them had their moments. But I am picking Patchy to win this one, and I think the grappling is going to be the difference. I'm going based a lot on his record here and his last fight. So 13 wins by submission. The guy clearly is. I mean, out of his 20 wins, 13 of them are by submission. So you can call him a submission specialist. He likes to go for takedowns. He jumps on submissions real quick. And I think that pressure plus the takedowns by the threat of the submission is what's going to give him the win against Mario Bautista, who, again, against Aldo, an old, almost retired Aldo, didn't really look that great. To the point that I bet there's some of you people, not you people, but some of the people watching this that watch that fight probably think Aldo won that fight, right? And they think that I'm wrong. Because, again, after watching it, I do agree with the decision. I gave rounds 1 and 3 to Bautista, but nothing dominant, So Patchy Mix by decision. I don't think he will finish Bautista, but I think the pressure, control, and it's just going to make it where he gets the decision. Before that, one of my underdogs for the night, Vicente Luque versus Kevin Holland. Vicente Luque is coming from his last 2 fights, right? Last fight lasted less than a minute. He drops Stemba Gorima with a straight, jumps on a submission, and a counter choke submitted him. Before that, he lost by TKO against Joaquin Buckley. But if you go watch that fight, it's not like Buckley dominated or anything. Like, it was an extremely competitive fight up until the very last 20 seconds. As a matter of fact, round 1 was so competitive where if you want to argue Vicente Luque won round 1, I don't blame you. I mean, that's how close it was. Don't focus on the result. Yes, it's Joaquin Buckley by TKO round 2, but judge the fight as a whole. It was very competitive. And the way it ended was kind of weird. It's almost like Joaquin goes Vicente goes for a takedown, kind of like stops kind of like changes his mind or something. Buckley ends up on top and wins by TKO. But Vicente got up real quick. But again, round 1 and up until the moment was extremely competitive against Joaquin Buckley, who's a really damn good fighter. He's fighting Usman next week. And he's fighting Kevin Holland, who's coming from beating Gunnar Nelson by decision, a fight that I picked Holland to win as an underdog. It's always good to brag about an underdog. Well, I knew that the age for Nelson and like the 2-year layoff would take place, and sure enough, he was not able to grapple Kevin Holland. But Vicente Luque, he has the striking to keep up with Kevin Holland, and he has the grappling, which is much better. So I think I'm picking Vicente Luque by submission. I think he's gonna do good enough on the stand-up where Kevin Holland is not exactly going to be very comfortable, and eventually, as soon as he can, he's going to try to grapple and get that submission. So yeah, Vicente Luque by this submission round 2. And then I have one that I cannot believe how the odds are, but Bruno Silva versus Joshua Van. Joshua Van is like minus 500 favorite. This is one of those fights where either I'm a legend for picking Silva to win by decision, or people are going to be like, what the fuck were you thinking? I am picking Silva to win by decision. I'm not impressed with Joshua Van. Who has he beat? Suyuda, Cody Durden, Chairis, Kevin Borjas. This guy, Silva's coming from beating Manel Cap, and he was somewhat of competitive. But anyways, Dvalishvili by decision. O'Malley has a puncher's chance. Harrison by decision. Pyfer by TKO, could very well be a decision. Patchy Mix by decision. Vicente Luque by submission, one of my underdogs. And as crazy as it sounds, I am picking Bruno Silva to win by decision. He's a huge underdog. We'll see what happens.